So, as usual, ESPN's got a lot to say about the Georgia Bulldogs. This time, our buddy Mark Schleybaugh, who we run into every now and then on the road, has this to say about Georgia's receivers. And I want to talk about this a little bit because this is a really critical part of where Georgia's at coming into 2025. They don't get better receiver play, they're not going to have a good season. I don't know what that is. I love the people saying Georgia's going to lose 5 games in the comments. That's hilarious. But they're not going to have the season that they want. Here's what Mark wrote earlier this week over on ESPN. He said, thanks to the addition of Thomas and Branch, talking about Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch from Texas A&M and USC. Thanks to additions from Thomas and Branch in the transfer portal, Georgia's receiving core, which was a problem in 2024, might be a strength in 2025. Might be a strength in 2025. We're going to see, right? I mean, there's no guarantee. One thing Kirby was talking about during the spring is, I like what I see, but they got to do it during the game, and that's the part we won't really know probably until they go up to Neyland, I guess. I mean, you can learn a lot from the beginning of the season with those games. You can learn a lot. Hey, this, that, and the other about these guys look good, or it's a problem, but it's. Last season, the drops were pretty, or the lack of plays more than the drops was pretty evident. I thought it was pretty evident at spring, just what Georgia's got, in terms of explosion from Branch alone. I mean, just him changes things. I don't know that he's Ladd McConkey, but it's in that universe, and they just have not had that in these last since Ladd left. I do want to bring an announcement to this. Hang with me 1 second. I've got a few more of these left, which are signed by Kelee Ringo. I'm going to put the link to that below. You will get our 2025 preview in addition to the book. So you buy the book, and you'll get the 2025 preview. The free preview is not ready for sale yet. Hang on. I've got an announcement about that coming. But if you want to get both for the price of one, essentially, you get the book and you get the magazine for free. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. I don't have tons and tons of the Kelee book that are signed by Kelee Ringo remaining. So do what you can. And then, we'll unveil this a little bit, probably soon next week, the 2025 preview. It's going to be an in-depth look at the Dogs, the usual hand-typed season preview from, someone who's actually at the games covering it. So take advantage of that. Again, the link is right down below to that Kelee book that's signed by Kelee Ringo, who's on the cover. One last look. So I think the difference in the 2021 team, this group here, was that they had explosive receivers. Whether you think about Ladd, A.D. Mitchell, Jermaine Burton, Kearis Jackson. I mean, they had a lot of guys that could really not just stretch the field. I mean, they were missing George Pickens that season, if you recall, until the end. They made up for it, and I don't know if I would say that. Brock Bowers stretched the field so much as he stretched the stress level of the opposing team. I mean, he was very difficult. You also had Darnell. It was just a really good explosive offense. And with the exception of the Clemson game and maybe the first Alabama game, but certainly the Clemson game at the beginning of the season when they were using an injured quarterback, this was a Georgia team that exploded a lot. I mean, early and often. And then you look at 23. You look at the 23 season. You've got a new quarterback in Carson Beck. You've got a new offensive coordinator in Mike Bobo. They're scoring a ton of points constantly. And why? Well, again, you get back to explosive playmakers, and that is for me. That is one of the critical questions in 2025. It's not the only question, but it's a really important one. I mean, there are a lot, and you see people like getting upset about Georgia not being listed as a favorite to win the SEC or Georgia not being a top 5 team. I mean, I don't think they're the number 6 team in the country, but there are questions to be had in Athens. You have a new starting quarterback. You have an offensive line that did not perform the way that it needed to a season ago to run the ball effectively. I do think the running backs will be better globally speaking, not I think ETN would have been great if he were healthy and played a lot last year. That didn't happen. So I think you've got questions. But I think the biggest problem last year really was the offensive line's inconsistency. But I think that the wide receivers didn't help. And, it just didn't mesh together. It starts with the offensive line for sure. This team's got to figure out how to stay healthy. That matters a lot too. But to me, if you can get explosion from Branch, if you can get consistency from Thomas, if you can get, Lawson and Delp, they might look more explosive than they really are if they're more functional in the run game. And I think that that's sort of where you start. There's a lot that Georgia looked at going into the season that was important. And what I mean to say is in the spring, there was a lot that they looked at and they were like, we want to get better at these things. Primarily, it was on the line of scrimmage. Kirby was saying, we felt like we got run on too much. We felt like we didn't run enough. I agree with those statements. And so then the question becomes, if you can get the offensive line right alone, that changes the game. Why? Because that means your defense isn't out there as long. That means that, you're dictating things more than you are receiving dictation. And so if this program is going to get to where they want to go, the offensive line has got to get better. I've been talking about that a little bit more than the wide receivers, but I will say this. I've seen Branch, obviously in person now. I watched him at SC. I watch a lot of college football. I have a disease. I watch a lot of West Coast football because I stay up at nights. And he was pretty evident freshman year. It took a step back as a sophomore, but Thomas has been productive at A&M pretty much the entire time. And then you add Josh McCray at wide receiver. I mean, the challenges that at running back, Josh McCray at running back, the challenges that Georgia had in the offseason, they addressed them. And for, the criticism of Kirby and quarterbacks, I mean, I think a lot of that was based on, quite frankly, Jake Fromm and Justin Fields. But the 2020 season wasn't great either, to be honest with you. So there is criticism to be had. But lately the quarterbacks have played pretty well at Georgia, I would argue. Carson's up and down 2024 notwithstanding. You look at the quarterback play in 21, 22, 23. I mean, they lost 2 games in that run. And the reason part of it was certainly the quarterbacks, but they had explosion too. I mean, they had explosive playmakers on the outside. They are not what they were in 2021 or 2 in the explosion front. Not in my mind. But they're better than they were in 24, it looks like to me. And again, let me just get back to Noah Thomas real quick. He had 2 big games in SEC play. 6 catches for 109 yards and a touchdown against Arkansas. And then at Auburn, 5 catches, 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. I was in New York, actually. I'd gone to New York that day, or that after the Georgia game. Long story. I watched him burn up Auburn down there in that loss. But that is what he can do. And those are sort of the spotlight games. I mean, like, he had some quiet games too. 1 catch for 54 yards was a 54-yarder against LSU. 2 catches for 24 against South Carolina. So there were some quieter moments. 3 catches for 31 against Texas, but there were some big moments too. And I think that he's got to channel that. And if he can do that, Georgia will be along the way with having a very steady, if not explosive, playmaker. Now, Branch, on the other hand, really, I mean, all you needed to see was G-Day. But if you missed it, when he was at SC, you had some very explosive sort of moments. Not even just in receiving. I mean, he went for 102 against UW, went for 98 against Michigan. Those are legitimate, Those are legitimate teams. I mean, that with good defenses that he was going up against. You know, you take a look at his return game. Was not nothing at all. He can run the ball, Branch, but they're going to need to get him out in space. Again, he's not Ladd McConkey, but he is in that universe, and I think that's the big thing. Can these guys take advantage of their situation with more explosion? Can Gunner, hit the target? I mean, the one thing you talk to Georgia coaches for years now. Now, this is not new news. He's the starter, and they want to celebrate him. What do you like about him? He's accurate. He's on time. Those are the biggest thing. He is very accurate. Well, if he's accurate, then they will get where they got to go at receiver. Make sure that I'm not going to have a bunch of these Kelee books left after a while. I mean, so this is signed by Kelee. You get it today. I'll send you the magazine when we publish it, which will probably be a few weeks from now. I'll put it to you like that. I'll have it on sale for everybody else in a little bit. Thanks for watching.